Hello, we are Team 43 and we are going to do our economics presentation. And I am Joe, Zhou Jiale, majored in MIS. And following is our second member.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Fanshen Chen. I majored in accounting, first grade, and here is our third member.
Hello, I'm Wilson Liu Weihan, majored in political science, and let's begin.
大家好，我是政治一的刘伟汉。接下来我要讲解的是第一题。Question 1. According to the description, we have to determine the following costs, which are fixed costs or variable cost. A fixed cost is a cost that doesn't change with an increase or decrease in the amount of goods or service produced. Even if the company's quantas decide to shut down in the short run, it still have to pay the fixed cost. Conversely, a variable cost increase or decrease depending on a company's production's volume. Part A. Cockpit personnel. No matter how many flights or passengers flow are, quantas still have to pay for every cockpit personnel's salary. Therefore, cockpit personnel is a fixed cost. Part B. Airport landing fees. The airport landing fees will increase or decrease depending on the number of flights or the passenger flow. So, airport landing fees are variable cost. Part C. Fuel. Fuel consumption has the same features as the airport landing fees. It will increase or decrease depending on the number of flights or the passenger flow. So, fuel is the variable cost.
Hello, this is Brian. I'm going to cover question number 2. For problem A, it tells us to graph the marginal cost curves, the selling prices, and profit maximizing scale of production between 2002 and 2004. First, we graph a diagram like this. The blue one stands for 2002, the orange for 2003, and the gray one for 2004. From this, we can tell that the MC curve shifts inward, and the selling price rises up from 2002 to 2003. Next, the MC curve shifts outward a bit, and the selling price rises from 2003 to 2004. As for profit maximizing scale of production, we can see the production shown on the previous table are the answers. Because the question has assumed that the Buyanghudu mine always produces at the scale where its marginal cost equals the selling price of gold. This shows the trait in perfectly competitive market. Selling price equals marginal revenue in perfectly competitive market. Profit maximizing scale of production occurs when marginal revenue equals marginal cost. This is why the quantity they produce are the profit maximizing scale of production. Move on to problem B. In 2003, Barrick continued to produce from the Buyanghudu mine even though the selling price of gold, to 366 per ounce, was less than its average production cost of 369. Was it a mistake? As I said before, the Buyanghudu mine is in a perfectly competitive market, so it always produces at profit maximizing quantity when they produce the quantity where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. Therefore, even though it leads to a loss, it's still a profit maximizing quantity. However, if in the long run the firm should exit the gold market because the selling price will be lower than the long run break even. Before going to problem C, I'd like to show this information I've used for reference. The definition of gold market. There are no barriers to entry. Anyone can enter the gold market. Therefore, there are many buyers and sellers of gold. The product of gold is identical between the firms. There is also easy to find price information on current gold prices. If there are no further hints, we assume both Buyanghudu and Karguli are price taker. Namely, they are both in a perfectly competitive market. Problem C asks for the break-even condition of Buyanghudu and Karguli in 2004 respectively in the short run and in the long run. First, we'll discuss the short run condition. Let's look at the two diagrams on the right. The upper one is for Buyanghudu, and the lower one is for Kalgoorlie. We can see that Buyanghudu gained profit $2,450 and Kalgoorlie gained profit $50,172 in the short run. But because both of their selling prices are above their average total cost, both are above break-even point. Average total cost equals marginal cost. As for the long-run break-even conditions, because the two firms have different costs, the long-run curve will be upward sloping. Recall that the Buyanghudu mine always produces at the scale where its marginal cost equals the selling price of gold. As a result, in the long run, it will gain zero economic profit when marginal cost curve intersects with average total cost at its minimum point. Nevertheless, Kalgoorlie can still earn profit in the long run because it has less cost than Buyanghudu. Note that the price in the market reflects the average total cost of the marginal firms, which in this situation it's Buyanghudu, which earns zero economic profit, while Kalgoorlie's average total cost might be lower than the price, making Kalgoorlie able to earn economic profit in the long run.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe and I'm going to present question 3 and question 4. So in question 3, a firm is facing the current condition which shows in the table. And for question A, suppose the firm is a perfectly competitive firm and its average variable cost is minimized at the current quantity level. So do you think if the competitive firm is maximizing its profit, and explain the reason? So our team thought that the firm is not maximizing its profits, and it is because that it doesn't produce at the quantity level, which marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. And the reason for that, I will present it in the calculation process. So we will first calculate the marginal cost. But before that, we have to know the minimum of the average variable cost. So how to calculate it? It is equal to variable cost divided by quantity. And because the question tells us that the the firm is producing at the minimum of the average variable cost. So we can use the numbers in the tables. So the minimum of the average variable cost is equal to 90,000 divided by 1,000, and it is equal to 90. And for marginal cost, it always crosses the minimum of the average variable cost. So it is equal to 90 as well. And for the marginal revenue, since the firm is in the perfectly competitive market, so the price is always equal to marginal revenue, and they are all at the same value of 100. So based on the calculation, the marginal revenue is bigger than marginal cost, which means marginal revenue is not equal to marginal cost. So the firm is not maximizing its profits. And for the second part, what our team are going to suggest the firm to do is that it should increase its output. And why is that? For the current production level, we can see that it is 1,000. And for this quantity level, the marginal revenue is equal to 100. And the marginal cost is equal to 90. And the two values are not the same. And so we suggest that the marginal revenue should equal to marginal cost. So the firm should produce at this purple point, which the marginal revenue horizontal line crosses the marginal cost line, and here. So it is bigger than 1,000. And although we don't know the real number, but we know that the production level should increase. And for question B, suppose that the firm is the monopoly firm and its average total cost is minimized at the current quantity level. So for the first part, do you think that the monopoly is maximizing its profit, and explain the reason? So our team suggests that its profit is not maximizing because the firm doesn't produce at the quantity level which the marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. And like the previous analysis, we will first calculate the marginal cost. So before we calculate marginal cost, we need to know the minimum of the average total cost. So from the question, we know that the firm is producing at the minimum of the average total cost. So we can use the number in the table here. So the minimum of the average total cost is equal to total cost divided by quantity, which is 100,000 divided by 1,000. And the number is 100. And the marginal cost always crosses the minimum of the average total cost. So they are all 100. And since the firm is a monopoly firm, so the marginal revenue is always smaller than the price. And in the current production level, the price is equal to 100. So the marginal revenue is always smaller than 100. So based on the calculation, we know that the marginal revenue is smaller than marginal cost. And so the marginal revenue is not equal to marginal cost, which means the firm is not maximizing its profit. So what our team is going to suggest is that the firm should decrease its output. And why is that? Because for the
current production level, which is 1,000. The marginal cost is here, which is 1,000. And the marginal revenue is here. And so we know that the marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue. And so we suggest that the production levels should move to this yellow point, which the marginal revenue curve crosses the marginal cost curve. Although we don't know the real number here at the quantity, but we know that the number is definitely smaller than 1,000. So it should decrease its output to maximize its profit. And for question 4, suppose that Mercury Airlines marginal revenue and demand curve cross the marginal cost curve at the quantities of 3,000 and 6,000 seats a week, respectively. All other data remain the same. So for question A, it wants us to calculate the profit under the policies of two circumstances. And for the first condition is the uniform pricing, and the second is the complete price discrimination. So I will first calculate the profit of the uniform pricing. So since the uniform pricing charges the consumer at one single price, so it charges the consumer at the price P here. So its profit will be this rectangle. Okay, and so the area of this rectangle is equal to 3,000 times P minus 800. And so can we get the real number of the area since P is unknown now? Yes, we can get it because we can calculate the real number of P. And how do we calculate it? Since we know the points 0, 4,000 and 6,800 here, then we can know the point here. And we know that the x is 3,000. So it is in the middle of 0 and 6,000. So for y at this point is also the middle of 4,800. So the point here is 3,000, 2,400. So the 2,400 is based on this calculation process. So since we know the real number of P, we know the real number of this rectangle, which is the profit. So the profit is equal to 3,000 times 2,400 minus 800, and it is equal to 4,800,000. And for the second condition, if the firm uses the complete price discrimination, then it will take every consumer surplus away here. So its profit will be this big triangle, and this big triangle's area is equal to 6,000 times 4,000 minus 800 divided by 2. So the result is 9,600,000. For question B, suppose that Mercury implements complete price discrimination. Explain why it should sell up to quantity where the buyer's marginal benefit equals Mercury's marginal cost. And so where is the marginal benefit equals marginal cost. It is at this point. And the reason for this is because that the demand curve is also the marginal benefit curve. So when the marginal benefit curve crosses the marginal cost curve, and the point is that the marginal benefit equals to marginal cost. So why should it sub up to the quantity level here is because for the consumer here, when the firm is producing the product, it will definitely guarantee that the marginal benefit is always greater than the marginal cost. So it will definitely get the profits here, the big triangle here, and it is maximizing its profit. So since it's producing at the quantity level here, it can get the biggest profit. So in question C, explain why Mercury's profit is higher with complete price discrimination than uniform pricing. So for the condition of complete price discrimination, Mercury can own so much of the profit. And when taking the uniform pricing, it can gain this big of profit. So compare these two profits, we can know that the complete price discrimination have these two blue triangle more compared to the uniform pricing. So it is always earning the higher profit when using the complete price discrimination. And so these are all my parts. And for the fifth question, Wilson will present it in the following slides. And thank you.
我是政治一的刘伟汉，接下来要讲解的是第5题。Question 5. We draw the game matrix of the each studio's ticket sales on different date, and then we use the arrow technique to find the Nash equilibrium. Given that Studio Luna opened the movie on December 11, Studio Moonlight will sell 200,000 tickets if it opened on December 11, and 150,000 tickets if it opened on December 18. 200,000 tickets is better than 150,000 tickets, so we use the arrow point 200,000 tickets from 150,000. Given that Studio Luna opened the movie on December 18, Studio Moonlight will sell 350,000 tickets if it opened on December 11, and 100,000 tickets if it opened on December 18. 350,000 tickets is better than 150,000 tickets, so we use the arrow point 350,000 from 100,000 tickets. Use same rule. 200,000 is better than 150,000, so we can draw the arrow. And then 350,000 is better than 100,000, so we can draw the arrow too. Now we see this cell with the two arrow points together. So the Nash equilibrium is both open on December 11 and both sells 200,000 tickets. Part B, according to the description. If both of them open on the same day, each studio will sell 70,000 more tickets. So both of them will become 270,000 tickets on December 11 and 170,000 tickets on December 18. Given that Studio Luna opened the movie on December 11, Moonlight Studio will sell 270,000 tickets if it opened on December 11, and 150,000 tickets if it opened on December 18. And 270,000 tickets is better than 150,000 tickets. So we can draw the arrow point 270,000 tickets from 150,000 tickets. Given that Studio Luna opens on December 18, Moonlight Studio will sell 350,000 tickets if it opens on December 11, and 170,000 tickets on December 18. So we can draw the arrow point 350,000 tickets from 117,000 tickets. Use the same rule. 270,000 is better than 150,000. So we can draw the arrow. And 350,000 is better than 170,000. Now we see this cell with the two arrow points together. So the Nash equilibrium is both open on December 11 and both sells 270,000 tickets. That's all. Thank you for your listening.